Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. May peace be upon you all. Good afternoon. Welcome to this session B on life in Gaza. I'm still waiting for our speaker, Engineer Muhammad Radwan, but I understand he's here. We'll begin and we'll let him join us in a few minutes. Let me begin by saying that it is my honor and privilege to be in the midst of so many international luminaries and activists for peace and justice in Palestine. Specifically, I'm privileged to be with the learned speakers, Engineer Muhammad Radwan, Foreign Relations Officer, House of Parliament, Gaza, Mr. Derek Graham, international activist and leader of MV Rachel Corrie team. As you have been informed, the Honorable Judge, Mr. Dialdin Mathuan, head of the Committee of War Crimes Documentation Palestine, has not been given permission to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all here to express our outrage at a shameful condition, at the dehumanization, brutalization, strangulation of an entire population. In the jargon of international law, what is going on in Palestine in general and in Gaza in particular is easily within the definition of genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity. Now, who are guilty of these unbelievable and heinous crimes? That is another unbelievable and shameful story. It is not only Israel, the occupying power, but also the USA, the European Union, and many Muslim leaders in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, and even within the PLO itself. Many of us may not know that most of the people living in Gaza are not there by choice. The majority of the 1.5 million people crammed into the roughly 140 square miles of the Gaza Strip belong to families that came from towns and villages outside Gaza and were driven to Gaza by the Israeli army in 1948. The Gazans have lived under Israeli occupation since the Six-Day War in 1967. Even though Israel removed its troops and settlers from the Strip in 2005, Israel still controls access to the area. It controls imports and exports and the movement of people in and out. Israel has virtually total control over Gaza's airspace and seacoast, and its forces enter the area at will. I know that Derek and his group have somehow breached the restrictions and have entered Gaza a few times, but by far and large Israel's control is near absolute. As the occupying power, Israel has the responsibility under international law, specifically the Fourth Geneva Convention, to see to the welfare of the civilian population of the Gaza Strip. Israel's blockade of the Strip, with the support of the United States and the European Union, has grown increasingly stringent since Hamas won the Palestine Legislative Council elections in January 2006. Fuel, electricity, imports, exports, movement of people in and out of the Strip, in and out of the Strip, have been slowly choked, leading to life-threatening problems of sanitation, health, water supply and transportation. This amounts to collective punishment, with the tacit support of the United States, of a civilian population simply for exercising its democratic rights. Lifting the blockade, along with the cessation of rocket fire, was one of the key terms of the June 2008 ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The ceasefire unfortunately broke down when Israeli forces launched major air and ground attacks in early November 2008, in which 6 Hamas operatives were reportedly killed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the targeting of civilians, whether by Israel or by Hamas, is potentially a war crime. Every human life is precious, but the numbers speak for themselves. Nearly 700 Palestinians, most of them civilians, have been killed since the conflict broke out at the end of 2008. In contrast, there have been around a dozen Israelis killed, many of them soldiers. This war on the people of Gaza isn't really about rockets, nor is it about restoring Israel's deterrence, as the US, Israeli, and the Fox press might have you believe. Far more revealing are the words of Moshe Yalon, then the Israeli Defense Force Chief of Staff in 2002. He said, "The Palestinians must be made to understand in the deepest recesses of their consciousness that they are a defeated people." So this is what it is all about breaking the spirit of a people, of forcing them by terror to believe that they must harbor no hopes, they must not dream dreams, they must not expect any rights or any dignity. Well, Israel and its backers should know that the human spirit cannot be vanquished. The brave people of Palestine have proved over the last 62 years that they are prepared to die on their feet than to live on their knees. With these introductory remarks, may I now introduce to you the two learned speakers. On my left is Engineer Muhammad D. Radwan, Foreign Relations Officer, House of Parliament, Gaza. We thank him profusely because he has just arrived. I understand there is lack of sleep and fatigue, but thank you so much for being with us. And Mr. Derek Graham on my right, international activist and leader of MV Rachel Corrie team. Now, I apologize that the Honorable Judge Dialdeen S. Mathoun is not with us. I've been informed by the organizers that in lieu of his speech, there'll be some visuals presented on the work of the War Crimes Commission in Palestine. The first speaker will be Engineer Muhammad D. Radwan. May I request both of you to please take 10 to 15 minutes to make your points, and after the visuals, then we'll have a question and answer session. For the question and answer session, in order to prevent long speeches, you are requested to please jot down your question on a piece of paper, which will be supplied to you, and pass it to us at the desk here, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. To Your Excellency, to Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, Chairman of Berdana Global Peace Organization, the respectful participants in the conference, breaking the siege in the spirit of Rachel Corrie and Mavi Marmara. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I have the honor to speak on behalf of Gazans people, who send you warm greetings and many thanks for your efforts for supporting the besieged Gaza. In Gaza, I left many families of martyrs, wounded, and detainees who hold me great responsibility. I am here to send you their greetings, their suffer, and their agony. They are still touching your continuous support for the Palestinian issue throughout history. We are proud of the brotherly humanistic links with Malaysian people and the world-free people who believe justice, humanity, and freedom. We are full of joy that we have brothers supporting our steadfastness in our occupied land. Who can forget the heroes on Marmara ship and the braves on